Hello everybody, I am Hoardergamer, and today we got reviews, we got some toys, obviously we have comic books, because what else am I going to review? And this is Hoarder's Comic Flex. I hope you had a delightful time, because I don't know when you're watching this. You could be watching this during the day, you could be watching this at night, at your leisure. I don't know, but I appreciate you watching it. Thank you. First up, we have our comic book. Our first one we're going to talk about, Tenement. Tenement #1, and this is by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino have been working together for quite a while on something called the Orchard Mythos, I believe it is. Or is it a Black Orchard Mythos? I do apologize. 1 second here. Bone Orchard, my apologies. The Bone Orchard Mythos. And even before that, Gideon Falls was this amazing series that Jeff Lemire wrote and Andrea Sorrentino did the artwork for, which was phenomenal. I believe there's 2 trades that cover the entire series, and it was really good. It was very intense. Screwed up. Horror science fiction. Trying to think of what to compare it to, like Twin Peaks and Lost, I guess. Those would be the closest things I could compare that to. Anyway, Tenement, the name isn't very honest, because it's Tenement, but it's about 7 people. Yes, I know it was a terrible joke. These 7 disparate, not desperate, well, 1 or 2 of them are, but these 7 disparate people live in this tenement, and it's like 6 adults and 1 kid, and basically they just go on their daily lives. One of them is trying to get some keys made, or duplicated. One of them is trying to score some drugs after a rock and roll gig. So, see, the issue with this book, right, is that it's a slow burn. This is a very good issue, a very good intro to these characters, but it's a very slow burn. Unless I say, like, every crazy thing that happens and, like, builds and kind of ruin the book for you, it's hard to review it. But it's very good. I'm interested to see where it goes. And, it had a bit of a Shining vibe to it. And if you read it, you'll probably know what I mean by that. The young kid named Isaac seems very interesting so far. We definitely want to know more about a character named Felix, especially with what goes down with Felix in this issue. Hopefully, like, we'll get like some cool flashbacks or something like that. It would be important. It would be important. The artwork is beautiful. At one point, it's wild, though, because there's this page where they're introducing, or 2 pages, they introduce all 7 characters. And you're actually reading the panels downward instead of, like, in the United States or whatever, basically comic books, are read from right to left. And then, like, manga and all that is read from, from left to right in the US, manga is right to left, okay? So the idea of, like, having to read in columns is really bizarre, but it makes sense because you see, like, 2 or 3 moments in each character's day shown to you in 2 pages. So that part was really neat. I had to like check it out twice, though, because I was like, wait a minute. I don't think we're supposed to go across. I think we're actually supposed to go downward and to see the explanation of what's going on in these pictures. But yeah, if you're a horror fan and you're a Jeff Lemire fan, I highly recommend it. Also, I've reviewed Phantom Road, a number of, I think like 2 issues I think I've reviewed of Phantom Road. Another great Jeff Lemire book. I apologize, can't remember if that's Andrea Sorrentino. It might be. But yeah, this prolific horror, what do you want to call it? Avalanche from Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino is really impressive. Like, there's also something called Fish... Hold on here. Because I was shocked by this one. Like, I thought I knew about all the books coming out. And then I saw a solicit for Fish Flies. Another Jeff Lemire book. It doesn't say who the artist is, but yeah. I believe Fish Flies comes out in July. So, at this point, it almost seems like every 2 or 3 months, there's a brand new book by Jeff Lemire. They're going to have the Lemire-verse pretty soon. It's going to compete with, like, Marvel and DC. It's going to be insane. You thought Mark Miller was prolific. Meet Jeff Lemire. Okay, everybody. So that was our first review for today. Tenement number 1, part of the Bone Orchard mythos, which is a series of different books. So currently it's been comic books or graphic novels. They haven't done an actual novel yet or anything like that. I believe it can go multimedia if Jeff Lemire wants it to. That's what it kind of sounded like when it was announced. I'm just not exactly sure. But now there's been like 2 or 3 things, including like hardcover one-shots and like 2 or 3 actual comic series. I believe it's 10,000 Black Feathers was the first full comic series. And I believe it was, I want to say 6 issues. And I don't know if it's going to get another series, like, or another season. I don't know how you call that, right? Because if all these comic book series are the Bone Orchard mythos, it gets a little complicated. Just a little bit. Just a little complicated. So now we're going to talk about games. And I hope that your game to talk about games. So, first up, as soon as I find the file, we have Final Fantasy XVI. Launches tomorrow. That's right. A Thursday release. June 22nd. Now, I believe it's supposed to be like at midnight. Central Time, I believe, or whatever. Because it was like a 6-hour countdown last time I checked for it. So, yeah. It looks amazing. The demo was awesome. I absolutely love the demo. If you like Game of Thrones and you're a fan of, like, really well-told stories and interesting characters, I know what you're thinking. I hate interesting characters. Phooey. Phooey on well-told stories and interesting characters. Then I think if you do like those things, you'll very much like Final Fantasy XVI. Also, the combat is excellent. Probably the best combat I have seen in a role-playing game. Some of the best combat I've ever seen in an ARPG would be in Diablo 4. But in like a straight-up role-playing game, I would say Final Fantasy XVI's combat is great, based on the demo. And the demo was limited, you know? Like, I couldn't, like, at will summon icons or anything like that, you know? So, Final Fantasy... It's funny, though, because, like, the actual name is a lie. We know damn well it's never the Final Fantasy. We know that they're going to announce one in, like, 2 or 3 years, and then 5 years later, that sucker's going to drop. That's what always happens. But it's almost always the same constant in each Final Fantasy. I'm not about to make another terrible joke. This is actually going to be serious. Crystals and summoning giant, insane creatures based on elements. Just about every Final Fantasy has giant summonable creatures and crystals. So whether you have, like, you know, cybernetics, whether it's like Middle Ages, whether it's solid magic, it's always something you summon, like a giant beast of some kind, and crystals. And this is no different. This has summons called icons, and it has crystals. So I think that's the commonality in just about every Final Fantasy. I'd have to double check, because I I can't remember if like in Final Fantasy 1, like on NES, if you actually summon things. I know there's the dragon, I believe, Bahamut. I don't recall if you summon that, if you control that in that game. I know there are crystals. So, at least most of the games, it's giant freaking beasts that you summon and insane crystals that give people powers. Okay, now, D4, okay, Diablo 4. People are losing their freaking minds over Diablo 4 seasons. Now, I'm not angry about this because what's happened is a massive influx of players have gravitated to Diablo 4 who have never played Diablo 1 through Diablo 3. So they don't know, especially with Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, about things like ladders and seasons. So I can see how that would be a shock. You have like this huge player base that's used to all this for like 10, damn near 20 years, and then you have possibly a player base as large, if not larger, who saw the amazing reviews, word of mouth, the incredible promotions for this game, and were like, I'm checking this out, I'm on board. And for some, it might be that you just bought the game and enjoyed an excellent 40-hour role-playing game. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. That might be the journey you had with the game. But some people are just kind of freaking out over seasons. Doom, it is good to see you. How you doing, Doom? The important thing to know about seasons in Diablo, though, and Rod Ferguson has talked about this, you don't have to replay the campaign. I think a lot of people thought you had to not only roll a new character, that you have to do. That is part and parcel to the season journey. But they also thought you had to replay the entire campaign like a month after you did. Spending another 35, 40 hours going through the campaign, unlocking all the Lilith statues and getting all the renown and everything. Well, the renown and all that you actually start with if you've beaten the campaign. Whatever you have unlocked when like the season's going is available to you. So like you'll have your renown, you'll know where the Lilith statues are. Now, the only thing I don't know is if the statues are actually activated or if they just show up on your map during the season to let you know where they are. That I don't know. I don't know if they are claimed. The term for those statues is claimed in-game. I don't know. I think they are, but I can't 100% say they are because I haven't heard that term used. But yeah, basically the big idea with seasons and the reason a lot of the Diablo junkies are excited, these are going to be seasons unlike any that we have seen. And unlike any that you have seen because, you know, maybe some of you haven't done any of them. Basically, there can be like story threads, which is really cool, new cinemas and everything, but like the easiest way to explain it is you wouldn't be facing any more of the prime evils or lesser evils. That's going to be like expansion material, you know? Certain of the characters in the game, like Narelle and everything, you're probably not going to see them. They'd probably be in the expansions. However, to give you like a for instance, Octavia, she's a woman that's in, I want to say Margrave, but I might have the city wrong. It's a smaller city, and she is actually a exorcist. You help her on a number of exorcist missions. Well, in a season, perhaps a smaller character like Octavia or something comes to you and has a problem that you have to help her solve. So it's story related. Far more so, it sounds like, than any of the other seasons we've gotten. Plus new ways to play your character and changes, I believe, to the Paragon boards when you're leveling up that character and everything. So, reason to be excited about either playing a different build of the class you already have as a new character or a completely different class. I myself am doing a completely different class. Right now, I'm gravitating towards Rogue. It might be Necromancer, but the problem is I've heard Necromancer is squishy in endgame. Like, even if you have like the rings and the amulets, that it can still be really difficult to deal with the necromancer. So, not sure on that. Not sure on that. So maybe rogue or sorcerer. I don't know exactly. I'm currently a druid. First character I rolled for the main game is a druid, and I finally hit endgame, and I still absolutely love the game. I think it's really cool. I'm kind of shocked at how in-depth and complex some of the side missions are. Like, there are side missions that are more complex than story missions in that game. It is crazy. And there's just so many of them, too. There's a lot of gameplay there. A lot of gameplay. I'll say it one more time for emphasis. A lot. But yeah, I'm hoping that people aren't just completely turned off by seasons and don't give them a shot or anything, because the amount of work being put into these seasons sounds really impressive. See, Diablo 4 was planned to have a huge team working on expansions and a huge team for seasons. Diablo 3, for the most part, had a real small team that did seasons, and that was about it. So it was like a new way to play. After about, I think, 2 or 3 years of seasons, they introduced new what are called set armors that you earn after you complete the first like 4 chapters of the season journey. It was like somewhat kind of minimal, but it was still fun to play different classes and things like that and try out the new set armor abilities. Now we're getting a lot more for the seasons. And I'm excited. I believe it's going to be the first or second week of July. And they're going to have like a stream where they talk about, you know, like Rod Ferguson and the devs, probably Joe Shelley as well. They're going to talk about the Diablo 4 first season. And that's supposed to launch anytime between mid-July to late July. I'll tell you this, though. I'm guessing that if the stream is going to be like first or second week of July, I'm going to guess more like late July. They also wanted to have enough people done with the actual campaign before they went and rolled out the season. So, and to allay any fears that people that know about the Battle Pass, anything that has to do with you leveling up more quickly or experience is on the free track of the Battle Pass. You don't pay for that part. You just play the game and kill a ton of demons, and then, or, you know, do the season journey, and then you'll actually get that stuff unlocked. So you can level up your character a bit faster than you could during the actual campaign of the game. But again, you're not paying for that. It's cosmetics. That's the part of the Battle Pass that you would pay for if you want those cosmetics. Okay, so we have the D4 freakout. We got that covered, okay? Now, there was a Nintendo Direct today. Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 coming out in July with glow-in-the-dark Pikmin. You get to explore at night now. That's new. That's new. You used to have to leave the planet, or like I believe you went into your ship, and then you just went out like in the orbit of the planet, and then you landed the ship again. The idea being that these terrible nightmarish creatures, you know, are so much worse at night than they are during the day, and you can't really be there because of how dangerous they are to you. Well, now these glow-in-the-dark Pikmin give you a way to face these dangerous creatures. And there are actual, like, night missions that you can do, which is really cool. There's also some sort of, like, competitive Pikmin thing, which I didn't fully understand, I'm not going to lie. But I think it's a weird place to be, though, for Nintendo. Because, like, they're like, yeah, and you can also, like, purchase on the Nintendo eStore. You can purchase Pikmin 1 and 2 remasters. Well, honestly, after seeing how amazing Pikmin 4 looks, right? Taking advantage of the Switch and its capabilities, and coming out in only a month, wouldn't you just wait for Pikmin 4? I mean, it's kind of a shame they couldn't have had those remasters ready in like January or February, something like that. You know, people are hungry for Pikmin 4. They'll play the old ones first. Well, here, what are you going to do? You're going to buy the remasters, and then you're going to be playing those, and then Pikmin 4 comes out. It just seems like odd timing to me. Maybe that's not what they planned, but that's just how it's going. But yeah, Pikmin 4 itself, I think, looks really cool. Then they blew my mind by announcing a possible, for me, Game of the Year nominee, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. A gorgeous-looking 2D Mario game with unbelievable animations that actually make the characters seem like cartoons more than characters in a video game. There were just so many things to notice, like things just changing form and shape, and Elephant Mario. Elephant Mario. Wait till you see that. If you haven't seen that, wait till you see it. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. This was originally going to lean into a terrible joke I have about actor Timothy Olyphant being the Oliphant Man, and Mario being the new Elephant Man. But I decided not to do that. I decided not to do that joke. But yeah, that looks amazing. Here's something, everybody. I hope you're seated. Hope you're seated, because I'm about to blow your minds if you don't know this already. It comes out the same day as Spider-Man 2. Both Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Spider-Man 2 come out on October 20th. I was floored by that. I was thinking maybe it would, because they showed it and it looked so good and everything. I'm thinking like, oh, that's probably coming out, you know, first quarter of 2024. Then they're like, they dropped the date, October 20th. And immediately I'm in my head and I'm like, there's a big game October 20th. There's a huge game that comes out that day. And I won't lie, at that specific moment, I couldn't recall what it was. So I go online and type in October 20th, and one of the first things that pops up is Spider-Man 2. So, that's going to be an interesting day for gamers. I see a lot of people getting both, man. Mario is one of the most popular characters / icons in gaming, and Spider-Man is one of the most popular icons in comics and entertainment. I see a lot of people doing both. I see people like getting an extra mortgage in the house and screw it, we're getting both games today. I totally see that. Also, a Super Mario RPG remake, which looked great. It looks really good. Now, I am worried that fans of the original who haven't played it in a while might look at it with like rose-colored glasses, because I'm a little worried if they haven't like updated any of the mechanics or features, because the game is like, what, 25 years old now. Like, I don't even remember a lot of the, what you call like pain points and stuff of the original game. I just don't. I know I liked it at the time, but I'm sure there were things that were cool then that would seem incredibly frustrating now, because that's how it seems to be with almost any remake or remaster. Although more likely with a remake, they add some like quality of life adjustments. So, I don't know. They didn't say too much about any of that. They just showed a little bit of the game, and they showed how amazing it looks now. Man, when they remake a game at Nintendo, not just a remaster, when they remake it, they pretty much go all out. They really do. Then there's also, I'm really happy about this because I have like not played it. Luigi's Dark Moon. Luigi Mansion Dark Moon is coming to Switch. Okay? Okay? It gets crazier, everybody. The return of Detective Pikachu. I didn't think we'd ever get a Pikachu, Detective Pikachu game on Switch. I never thought it would happen. I was like, oh, they'll just have it on 3DS. Of course, they have a big budget movie. But for whatever reason, no Detective Pikachu on Switch. And now, finally, we're getting one. And insanely enough, it sounds like Will Arnett. I'm going to have to look that up. I don't know if it's him, but it sounds a lot like him. And it looked great. It looked really awesome and like fun, and I'm looking forward to it. I've been wanting to play one of those for a while. And possibly Peach RPG. Like Mario RPG, but the main character is Peach. Now, it's hard to say. Based on what they showed and talked about Peach getting her own game, it's hard to say if it was a 2D, like, side-scrolling action game like Super Mario Brothers, or if it was more like an RPG, where it would be like, again, Peach RPG. It's hard to say what they showed. So I'm going with, right now, Peach RPG. Or Super Peach RPG. Okay, everybody. We are done. We are exhausted talking about games. That is, we're completely done with games now for this week. Not all time, just this week. Now, it is time for us to toy around. And boy, do I have some toys this week. Oh my God. Look at this, everybody. Look at this insanity. Yes, I know that they have Transformer core figures, right? Which is really awesome. It's a way to have a fully transformable and posable Transformer toy in the $9.99 to $11.99 range. For whatever reason, Target seems to have the cheapest price on them at $9.99 a piece. So here you get Bumblebee, which is apparently a better version than the other core Bumblebee they've done. You get Optimus Prime, okay? But your eyes are not deceiving you. You get the back of the truck. You get the roller car, and you get like the computer type of thing, which I think looks nothing like it in the cartoon, but I think it's also called Teletran 1. You get all of that for $40. All of it. I was shocked. I was like, that's really cool. Because like I said, you're spending $10 to $12 for both Bumblebee and Optimus Prime. And then with the roller car, with like the swivel computer thing, I don't know, I think again it's called like Teletran 1. And then the actual back of the truck, $40. Exclusive, everybody, to Hasbro Pulse Online. So, not Toys R Us, Mike. Hasbro Pulse. Also, you might actually have to be a member. I'm not sure on that, though. But I was like, that's awesome. That is truly an awesome collection right there. I mean, I never thought they would do a core size for the entire Optimus Prime. Yeah, that's really neat. I liked it a lot. Okay, let's remove that. One of my favorite Transformers, one of my favorite Decepticons, one of my favorite factions of Decepticon, an Insecticon, Bombshell. Not available for pre-order quite yet. I'm guessing in the next week or two. Who knows? Maybe even tomorrow. Hasbro Pulse likes to announce something, and then like people are waiting in that release date, and they'll think it's that day, and it won't be. It'll be the next day. A couple days, maybe a week. But yeah, Bombshell. He's going to be about $25. He joins Kickback as well as Shrapnel. So we have three really great takes on the Insecticons right now. That's most of them. That's like most of the original popular ones that everyone liked. It's not exclusive to Target, no. But yeah, I really like this. And everybody, when this is available, if you wanted to pre-order it, you could use code Hoarder on entertainmentearth.com. It supports me. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, I think he looks great. I think he looks great. I like him a lot. Now, this is too rich for my blood, but I would be remiss if I covered toys every week with a show, which I do, and I didn't show this thing off. Oh my god, I think this is the holy grail of what people were waiting for with the Mondo He-Man 12-inch figures. Skeletor. And I love how they do pre-orders. So pre-orders, I believe, went live a couple days ago, and they are going, I believe, through the 30th of June. So if you can order by the 30th of June, you're getting one. It's pricey, though. $260. Which is about right if you're looking at something like Hot Toys, right? Look at everything it comes with. It has an incredibly detailed mock-up of, like, the version that, like, had the venom-spitting lizard that's on his back. That was, like, an alternate version. It has what looks like the battle armor that can become damaged, although I don't know if this can become damaged, everybody. I think this is just, like, pristine-looking version of that armor. But, man, if you can get a good look at this online, the detail is freaking ridiculous on all of this. And especially that battle armor. Insane looking. You get 3 heads. Okay? 4 if you're counting the main Skeletor head. 2 are exclusive, again, to Mondo. So if you order by, I believe, again, the 30th of June, you'll be able to get all that exclusive stuff. That's also including the armor, the lizard, the lizard's poisonous breath. I think it looks phenomenal. Mike, you may not be wrong. Like some of the Hot Toys, when they went to the DX line and had the glass eyes that could rotate in their heads, the first ones of those, like, they retailed at like $250, and they're going for $1,000 if not more. I was kind of kicking myself that I didn't get the first I think they're called DX11s. I didn't get the first DX11 of the Joker. They did a really beautiful Joker, and the reason I didn't is because I got the original versions. I got Bank Robber, and I got the basic version of Joker from Dark Knight. And they're gorgeous. They're amazing figures. Okay? And they're the only Hot Toys figures I have, just because of, you know, the priciness of them. But yeah, I do wish I would have gotten the one with the eyes. The rotating eyes. But yeah, I think this looks phenomenal. The price is, again, too rich for my blood, but it looks so cool. If you are a He-Man fan, especially if you're a Skeletor fan, this is kind of like the crowning piece of your collection, I'd say, unless you're talking about Eternia. The chances are, if you buy this for $260, you probably bought Eternia, which I think was like $400 or $500 or whatever. But yeah, look at this thing, man. Look at the freaking cape. That looks like it's freaking velvet. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is. But that does not look like cheap material that they use for his cape there. The paint job on his armor, everything. Freaking ridiculous. To me, it's easily the best looking one, too. Like, I felt some of the other ones looked a little bit too much like the basic counterpart, but this one's just tons of detail everywhere. And finally, right before we're done toying around, the Cobra Snow Serpent. Look at these accessories, everybody. Okay? That fur type of jacket, coat thing, like the wolf head, the backpack, the guns, the snowboard. the snowshoes, many other guns, goggles, a knife, rockets for some reason. Not sure. Oh, maybe the rockets go into the big gun. Maybe the gun actually works. I don't know. Don't quote me. Don't quote me. I'm not like saying things I know about this. But as you know, I do collect G.I. Joe classifieds. It's one of the few lines I do collect. And I only collect Cobra. Again, to save money. And because as a kid I was kind of screwed up. And I had like battles where like different Cobra factions would be like jockeying for position. You know? The normal thing kids did. Definitely not the normal thing of playing with the G.I. Joe figures and the Cobra figures. Yeah, but look at the detail. Look at everything he comes with. He comes in a box. Now, I know what you're thinking. Like, pretty much all Hasbro figures come in a box. He comes in a big box. Because there's a lot of stuff with him. So instead of the usual $24.99 that these figures still are, this one is $34.99. You are paying for those extra accessories. But I think it is a really nice looking figure. I think it looks phenomenal. The Snow Serpent. Also, if you want him, you might want to order him right away. Again, just so happens Entertainment Earth does have him. And if you were to, I don't know, order him there, use code Hoarder, it supports me. So, thank you. Yeah, but that's... They have gone all over and aboard and just nuts with all the accessories that these G.I. Joe classified figures are getting. I can't even believe it. So I will say, too, the Indiana Jones figures have gotten some amazing accessories, too. Like alternate heads and like alternate hands and just pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, everybody. How much would it cost to commission Hot Toys to make a Hoardergamer? I am going to guess upwards of $50,000. It would be expensive. It would be very expensive because you are working with insanely talented artists. My God, man, most of their toys are photorealistic now. I'm still kind of kicking myself for not getting Harley Quinn from the first Suicide Squad movie. That was an amazing hot toy figure. It looked so much like Margot Robbie, it was scary. Okay, everybody. So now that we're done toying around, you're like wondering, what the hell? Why does it keep going? Isn't the show over? It is not over. Not yet. Now we're going to look at the future of comic books, everybody. The future of comics all the way to... Is this thing on? 1 week from today! Okay, everybody. First up we have Vanish number 8. Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. Together again, like they were with Venom that came out in 2018. That's right, the Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman comic book of Venom started in 2018, that run. So, again, to recap, the main character in this book is facing an evil, monstrous sorcerer in a magical world that seems very much like akin to like a modern Harry Potter type of universe. So, no one knows how to defeat the sorcerer, super dangerous, fascist, scary as hell, right? So, main character comes into our world, gets a gun, goes back to the magic world, and puts a bullet in the fascist's head. Causing an insane reverberation between our world and the magic world, and just nuttiness. Just nuttiness all over. So, this is issue 8, the end of the first act, or first storyline, whatever you want to call it. And I'm showing this not so much for you to run out and buy issue 8 and then get all 1 through 7. That'd be real pricey. the trade should be out real soon. Okay? This is Image Comics. Okay? And usually when an Image trade or Image series ends, probably about 3-4 months till a trade comes out. So Vanish, the trade should, I'm guessing, probably be out by the holidays. That's my guess. I haven't seen a solicit yet, but that doesn't mean there isn't one out there. But yeah, crazy ass book. I think if you're a fan of Donny Cates or his run on Venom, you'll enjoy it. Vanish. And I'm going to make that picture of the cover vanish. I just did. Batman the Brave and the Bold, #2, Tom King. Tom King is basically exploring the first time meeting and or confrontation between Batman and the Joker. And this is issue 2 of that. And this has been a really cool, like, I can't like go on and on about this series because it's only issue 2. But issue 1 was really good and it was insane. And I expect this one to be too. And look at that astounding cover. Look at that beautiful cover. Nava, how you doing? Hi, Nava. But yeah, there's that beautiful cover right there. I almost want to be like, roll that beautiful bean cover. Instead of beautiful bean footage, which is the actual ad, but beautiful bean cover really doesn't make sense. Because this comic book has nothing to do with delicious baked beans. With a little piece of bacon in the can. Kind of a caramelized to the beans, you know. Anyway, I'm going to send this to, let's see. Everyone says Arkham. Let's send this to Blackgate Prison. We'll send this cover to Blackgate Prison. And finally, The Heralds of Apocalypse by one of my favorite comic book writers, L. Ewing. Basically, the future and the destruction of Araco are what this book is about. And this is part of Before the Fall of the X-Men. So, yes, I know there's a lot of comics that are X, but Kieran Gillen and L. Ewing are doing some of the absolute best. And I highly recommend that this will be good. Like, or great even. Immortal X-Men and X-Men Red have been great. I would say so good that if you were limited in what X books you could get, I would say probably for continuity's sake, getting the main X-Men book, and then just getting X-Men Red and Immortal X-Men. Like, I understand, like, all the other X books, trust me, they're really mostly extremely high quality. But how many books can you do a month for just X-Men? It's like 13 or 14, I believe, now. You know? But yeah, The Heralds of Apocalypse, issue 1, comes out next week. I don't have any clever place to send it. Let's say Krakoa. I'll be lazy. I'll say we'll send it to the island of Krakoa. Okay, everybody. Now, we're reaching the end. We're reaching the end of the show. But we have another review to do. And also keep in mind, if you have any ideas like of comics for me to cover, toys you want me to cover, even video games, give me an idea. Let me know. Like, if like, hey, Hoarder, talk about Immortals of Avium. Sure. Comes out in August. It was going to come out in July. And, yeah, we could totally do that. Yeah. That was a for instance, you know. So either put that into chat or put it in comments, whichever. So I am a little worried. I think the comment section of these videos gets a little lonely. I think it does. Okay, so we are going to have our final review of The Incredible Hulk. Look at this amazing cover, by the way. Similar to an older cover, a very iconic cover. The Incredible Hulk #1, The Age of Monsters has begun. And I'm a little confused. I'm actually going to have to do a little research. One of the reasons having the show and then having it like grab the books, do the show hours later, means there's not a lot of time for things like research and stuff like that. And I'm going to be fully up, fully honest about that, forthcoming. That's the word I was looking for, forthcoming. So you have the mother of all monsters, which very much sounds like the creature or the thing that's in the Bible, the Whore of Babylon. And it is basically given now free reign to all things that call themselves monster on the earth. At the exact same time, you have Bruce Banner trying to keep the Hulk inside because he's now worried that once the Hulk gets loose, he will never be able to put him back in the bottle. No cork big enough to let him do that. It could be once he's out, he's out. So there's this great vibe of horror, but not body horror, although there's a great insane scene in the opening that is kind of body horror like, but not so much like L. Ewing's take on Immortal Hulk. And this mother of monsters, of horrors, is creepy and frightening, and it starts out with either Egyptologists or archaeologists finding this like a tomb, okay? But it's not actually a tomb. It's something that's connected to the green door. We don't know how yet, but we do know that whatever is in this thing basically takes over one of the people that was exploring the tomb, possesses them, and escapes. And creates a small group that are looking for anything having to do with the Green Door. The Green Door is a metaphysical place that was fully explored in Immortal Hulk. It's like a place between life and death. And this thing, this creature, when it inhabits this woman that was exploring, says the Green Door is closed now. So, apparently, whatever this thing was, it was dormant until they came in, and it would have probably just been able to stay there once the Green Door was still open. But the thing is overjoyed that the Green Door is closed, and it can get out, apparently. That's what it sounds like. Meanwhile, there's a young girl trying to get away from a terrible situation with a friend of hers is helping her to get away from an abusive father. And she comes face to face with a Hulk that's about to rampage. And that's like the end of the book. Now, I was talking about research. I'm trying to understand if Betty Ross died and came back or something insane. I don't know what easier way to put it. So this woman that has been possessed by the mother of horrors is talking to this other woman, and then they show her, and she's like, "Oh, wasn't your husband the creature?" And she says, "Yes." And I'm trying to understand if it's supposed to be Betty Ross or what. And how. So I don't quite get that part. I'm going to have to look that up. But beyond all that, and that research I got to do, it was great. It was great. It was creepy. It was scary. And the idea that the Hulk coming out now might mean he never goes back in, might mean the end of Banner, each time he comes out. It makes it seem now that, like, when he does come out, it's going to be a struggle and a bit of a nightmare to get him back in, to get that genie, as it were, back into the bottle. So, yeah, very cool. Very cool. Also, it's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who has been writing Action Comics at DC. And that has been some of the best Superman in years. So, I was very excited to hear he was going to do Incredible Hulk. I was surprised. You know, it's a Marvel book and a huge Marvel flagship book. But beyond that, I was thrilled. And the art by Nick Klein is really good. It's very creepy. It almost has an EC horror vibe to me. It's hard to explain it. But yeah, I think it's really good. I think this Mother of Monsters, Mother of Horrors, possibly the Horror of Babylon, is frightening and enigmatic. And I definitely want to know more. When she made a communication, I don't know if it was telepathically or what, to all the monsters on Earth, one of them was Man-Thing. So that was interesting. Also, it looks like one of them was Ghost Rider, because it shows a motorcycle and a hand coming out of, like, the earth, and there's, like, flames around it. So that was neat. Her reach might be very interesting across the Marvel Universe. And what's great about an issue 1 like this, it opens up so many possibilities, right? Like, the mind just wanders as to where are we going with this? And it's great when that wander leads to incredible excitement, which this does. So I would say both these books are really good. If you like horror, pure horror, and like the unknown, I would say definitely Tenement. If you are a fan of Hulk and you like horror, Incredible Hulk. Also, I think Philip Kennedy Johnson might give us one of the best arcs we've had in a while. So I think this will be exciting. Everybody, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Again, I am Hoardergamer, and this was Hoarder's Comic Flex. And you can catch me, I don't know why you'd want to, but you can catch me at twitch.tv/Hoardergamer. Right now I'm doing a lot of Diablo 4, and I think either starting tomorrow or Friday, I'm going to be doing some of Final Fantasy 16, which I talked about earlier today. And I'm very much looking forward to that. So, I'd also like to thank Doomkiller HD for letting me borrow the channel again. Thank you. And yeah, check me out on Twitch. Also check out Doom Squad Gaming and our other members. We're going to entertain you. I think we will. I think we will. But thank you, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic whatever time it is you watch this. And if you like it, I'm not going to harp and preach about like subbing or anything like that. If you want to, feel free. But like, tell someone else about it. Be like, hey, this person has like thoughts on comics, toys, and games that aren't completely terrible. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you have a great time. Bye-bye.